Questions for Derek Shelton?
Shelty, is there anything that can be done at the coach level on that play at first base? I mean, is there anything? I know I'm reaching here, but is there anything that can be done where you can say, "Hey, get back here"?
No, I mean that's a good question. Tarek's watching the ball, and I think Key got caught. Well, obviously Key got caught watching the ball, and by the time he got past him, he had missed it. So it's one of those things that Key thought he caught the back corner of it, and he didn't. And if he's sure, or if he even thinks he misses it, he's got to go back and touch it.
So did you know all along what they were reviewing? Did you wonder if they were reviewing whether it was foul fair? When did you know what they were reviewing?
As soon as they appealed it, I mean, watching their bench, and as soon as they told Buehler to go to first, that's what I thought they were doing.
Shelty, in the fifth inning, after Polanco's misplay, you had a guy on third, I believe it was Lux. Did you have your outfield in there trying to get the out at home if your outfielders can make the throw?
No, I mean, we were at regular depth at that time in the game, and no.
Shelty, you guys had 8 hard hit balls and only 2 strikeouts against Buehler, but weren't able to push across the run against him. How do you kind of assess you guys' approaches and also struggles in those 7 innings?
I thought our approach was good. I mean, this guy's one of the best pitchers in the game. We hit the ball hard. We just didn't get balls to fall. And, we made him work, and we hit those balls hard. We just, we couldn't string them together. You're muted, Kevin.
How much harder is it when you rally the way that you did to see that you lost 1 run when Key Bryan had missed the base, and then he was also in scoring position when he was called out at second on the tag up? I mean, when you come back and you lose by 2 runs, there's 2 potential.
Yeah, I mean, the play at first, I mean, just if he thinks he misses it, he's got to go back and touch. The tag I thought was a good play, slid past the bag. I mean, he was safe on the initial play from Pollock, and he just slid past the bag. And Taylor did a nice job of holding the tag. But I thought he made a good read on that. He made a good aggressive play. He was safe initially, and he just slid past the bag.
Derek, what did you see out of Phil tonight, his first game back? And was it sort of important to get him in there against a guy that's as difficult as Buehler? I know you had righty there and a couple guys that can play left field, swing left-handed.
Yeah, we wanted to get him back out there. I thought he did a nice job. He got a base hit. He moved around. He moved around well in the outfield. And, yeah, I mean, his at-bats were good.
Did you see anything different out of Brubaker in the fifth that inspired you to take him out of the game?
Yeah, I thought he got a little tired. I thought that was the one thing. He did a really nice job. The first 4 innings, executed pitches. It just looked like he got a little tired in the fifth, and we got him out at the time where we thought was the right opportunity.
So, something like what happened to Key there can rattle a normal kid. I mean, all he does is come up after that and just cream the ball the rest of the night. I mean, what does that tell you about him?
It tells me that nothing affects him. I mean, he made a mistake, and I think your point is, and Donnie and I talked about it during the game, for a lot of people the rest of the game, they would have mentally not been in that space. He gets a base hit. He gets 2 other balls square on the nose. He goes to the backhand side and makes a really good play. Nothing really affects this kid. So, I'm pretty sure he's not going to do that again, but I think it's a testament to who he is that, this kid, nothing phases him. I mean, his heartbeat stays the same the entire time.
Shelty, just to double check, Polanco was a double switch.
Yeah, we needed Underwood to go 2 innings.
I know there's nothing you could have done to really prevent either situation at first base with Will Craig or with Key Bryan. But as a manager, what's it like to have that happen to you twice in a matter of a couple weeks?
I mean, there are 2 plays I've never seen before. I think, like we've said before, you stay in the game long enough, you see everything.
All good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. JT Brubaker. Questions for JT?
JT, it looked like you were able to sort of hammer that glove side, like outer third, outer edge, or whatever you want to call it. What you've talked before about how the sinker to both sides opens that up, but what was just working to get that spot over and over in those early innings?
Just showing in at times. Running two seam in. I think mixing the four seam up. Just opened it up. They kind of didn't. I don't know if they didn't know where I was coming next with it or what. But I mean, first four innings, just a mix of in and up. Showed some curveballs. Showed some changeups to lefties. So just a mix of, I guess, all pitches, locations too.
JT, did you
JT.
feel any difference in your stamina or anything in what you had left after the fourth inning?
No, I mean, fifth inning, can start to wear in tiredness, but I mean, nothing crazy. Just pitches got up a little bit. But I mean, I still felt good, still felt strong. So nothing different compared to other outings.
JT, that slider to the bets, like earlier in the game, like Gerard said, you were kind of living on the edges. Where were you trying to locate that pitch?
Just down and away to make him swing it, and it was away. It was just up. Still just mistake pitch. I mean, up. So it was right quadrant or right side of the plate, just up.
JT, were you able to get any work done, or were you just away from throwing it all for a couple days?
I was able to get working. I still did my throwing, still did everything necessary to make sure my arm stayed in shape to pitch when next time came up with today.
JT, I was wondering, is it hard to kind of refocus again when you go through something like your grandmother, losing your grandmother, and obviously it's a very emotional thing.
Yes and no. Once I cross that line or really come into the field, it's work. Just try to focus on having fun with the guys, getting what I need to get done, and then when I leave is when stuff can filter in. You can think about it, you can talk about it. I mean, guys here were very supportive, so yeah, it was talked about here, but at the same time, it was whatever I was doing. That was my main objective.
JT, you got a number of batters looking. What does that tell you about your stuff, and especially moving forward to the next start?
I mean, got guys looking. Credit to Stalls, knowing what these guys are wanting to do. Me trusting them. There was a couple times I shook them, but for the most part, Stalls was on top of it, knew how to keep these guys off balance, and we both had a game plan going into it, and just it worked early. So I'm just going to continue to trust him and what he sees behind the plate, and continue to trust our game plan that we talked about before the game.
Anything else for JT? Okay, good.
Thanks, guys.
Brian Reynolds for the group. Questions for Brian?
Questions?
Brian, go ahead, Rob. Brian, what makes Bueller so tough? Can you just take us through a couple of the bats against him, and then take us please through your bat in the ninth?
I mean, he's got a good electric fastball, and then he was working in his curveball well, and then he started mixing in the cutter late. Just a good pitcher all the way around. My last at bat, I got the pitch I was looking for and split the barrel on it.
Brian, you had Phil Evans on either side of you tonight defensively. What's that dynamic like for a guy who's not a natural outfielder, and there are so few natural outfielders on the team? Is there a sense where you feel responsibility to sort of help him here and there, obviously as a teammate, and what sort of goes into just helping him along in that process?
I mean, I'll keep an eye over there, but he's athletic. He's a good outfielder, even though he's not
played outfield his whole life, so I don't think there's really a need to babysit or anything like that. But yeah, just keep an eye over there and communicate well with him, and he can handle it well.
He said he does talk to you sometimes. Does he pick your brain often, or is this just something that when something comes up, you just chat with him about it?
Phil's always got something to say, so you never know what you're going to get from him. So that makes it more fun to have him out there next to me. But yeah.
Brian, kind of a two-part question about Key Bryan, but did you say anything to him after he missed first base there? And then just what do you think it says about his character to be able to, bounce back? He has a really good at bat the next time and, not let something like that phase him.
Yeah, I didn't say anything to him. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime thing and it won't happen again. And yeah, I mean, that could have easily been a day ruiner for him, and could have mentally checked out, but like you said, he didn't, and strung together a bunch of good at bats after that. So that says a lot about who he is as a player and as a person.
Brian, you were in the on deck circle. What was it like to watch all that unfold? I mean, you're watching a home run, and then all of a sudden they're throwing him out at first.
I mean, yeah, it was weird. It's not something I've had happen, and probably not something that will happen again. So it's just weird, just sucks, but he'll learn from it and not worried about it at all for him.
All good for Brian? Okay.
Just one more thing, Jimmy. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yep.
You obviously had a couple tough plays you just short on. How are you feeling? Just you say all the time you're comfortable in center, but how are you feeling on reads on those type of balls now that you've played the position more and more and more?
Fine. Yeah. That Pollock ball cut at the very end away from me. It should have caught it without diving, and then it started cutting. So that was tough. And then the Mookie ball just kept running away. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, guys.